you for coming out. I know that it's a holiday week, and it can be challenging to get out, but I really appreciate you being here this evening. My name is Bonnie Woodrow. I'm with the Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District, and we're here tonight to discuss with you the Septic to Sewer project in the Sedco Hills area. This project will also happen in the Avenues area, but we're specifically talking about Sedco Hills this evening. So I wanted to give you a little more information. I know you all just got a flyer, so thank you so much for coming out. Before we get started, I wanted to introduce our board who are here this evening with us. In the back of the room, you'll see our president of the board, Darcy Burke, representing Division 1. We also have Chance Edmondson, he represents Division 3. We have Andy Morris, Director Andy Morris, and he's our representative for Area 5. And then finally, Director Harvey Ryan, and he represents the Sedco Hills and Avenues area in Division 2. So thank you all for being with us this evening. We also have our General Manager, Greg Thomas, with us this evening. So they're all here and very excited to support this project. It is a grant-funded project, so we are very excited to share that information with you tonight. Also with us, we have our outreach team, and that includes myself. I'm Bonnie Woodrow. And then we have our engineering manager, Matthew Bates, here this evening to talk to you a little bit more about the engineering and construction of the project. And lastly, I'd like to introduce Joey Fernandez, and she will be the face of the project. You'll see her throughout this. You've probably talked to her on the phone already if you've reached out to us. So I'm going to turn it over to Joey, and she's going to give you the update on the project. Thank you.
I'm going to stand over here. Thank you, Bonnie. I'm going to stand over here outside of the way of our sign language interpreter. So for anybody who needs assistance with American Sign Language, we have somebody up here as well. So as Bonnie mentioned, my name is Joey Fernandez, and I'm part of the outreach team, and around the room you'll see a bunch of blue shirts, and we're all part of the outreach team. And after the presentation, we'll have some time for Q&A, and we will also have you go to each station to learn a little bit more beyond what we've discussed today. So as Bonnie mentioned, can I have some assistance pushing the buttons here? Sorry, my clicker is not working. So as Bonnie mentioned, we're all here today to discuss the septic to sewer conversion project, specifically for the community of Sedco Hills. She introduced the rest of the team, so I don't want to waste more time there, but we'll go on to the next slide. So the purpose of this open house is very specific. That is to help you all understand why you need this project. We're also going to talk about why you should convert from septic to central sewer. We're also going to talk about what the benefits are for converting and what happens when you convert from septic to central sewer. In addition, we'll discuss the cost of this and how you opt in. And before the end of the night, you will have the opportunity to opt into this program. So if you could please just save any questions that you might have for the very end, for the Q&A section. And if you're not comfortable speaking out in a group, we have questionnaire forms. So just raise your hand, and somebody, one of the outreach team members, will come around and give you that, so that you can fill out your question, and I'll answer that. Or excuse me, I'll ask that at the Q&A portion.
Afterwards.
Afterwards, yes. But that's okay. You can raise your hand now, and we'll pass those out to you. So as you know, this project, we discussed, this project area is in the Sedco Hills section, and the Sedco Hills, just so you all know, the area that we're discussing, there's a map in the back. Ed's standing by the map if you want to just take a look at that. Ed has the map there, and so this area is between Mission Trail Road, between Malaga Road, Lemon Street, and the I-15. So that is specifically for Sedco Hills, and that's what we're discussing today. Malaga. Okay, sorry, Malaga. Pardon me. Okay, so why do you need this sewer project? As we know, that septic tanks are fallible, and they tend to leach. So the project here, so when we put a visual here for you so you can see what happens. So oftentimes septic tanks will leach nutrients in fecal coliform into the soil that contaminates the surrounding environment, nearby groundwater, and other surface waters. So the goal of this project here is to eliminate that risk. We want to eliminate that risk for your community. We understand specifically that our health and our groundwater is so important to us. So as you see here, the way the water runs from the septic tank, it goes down into your septic tank and it fills up with scum and sludge, and then that, as it tries to filter through, oftentimes septic products will filter through. So you have your fecal matter, all the yucky stuff that comes out, that goes in the toilet, eventually gets into the ground at some point, and we want to eliminate that. So Emma, if you can move to the next slide. So again, as I talked about, just one more really quick visual for you all. As we talked about, the wastewater flows from your house into the drain field, okay? And so that goes into the soil and groundwater and can impact the surface water. Whereas with the sewer system, the wastewater flows from your house into a closed gravity piping system, which is then pumped in to the Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District for treatment. And so the benefits of, I'm going to switch over to this. So the benefits, as I kind of mentioned, are very, very clear. Obviously, it's going to increase your property value. We're bringing you up into line with the sewer, so it will increase your property value. It also improves your general health, which is very important. That groundwater protection I talked about. This is going to be very, very important to keep that groundwater protected, which means more recycled water back into your community. So that water then goes back to your community. It reduces the water pollution. It reduces storm-associated flooding. I'm sure that when the water gets higher, when you guys experience rain, there is some flooding that comes with your septic tank, and it's not just water that's flooding. So reducing that is very important. Reducing foul septic odors obviously is something that you're aiming towards. And then no more costly septic system maintenance and repairs. So eliminating the septic tank really does offer a lot of benefits, not just to you personally in your home, but also to the community that you're living in and the community that you're raising your children in. So how does this sewer lateral line work? The way that it's going to work is that you will be receiving a site visit from the engineers and the contractors to your property to do a little bit of investigation. Those site visits will come after our team reaches out to you to coordinate the time that's best for you and your family. We're not just going to pop up at your house and say, we need to do this work. There's going to be a group of folks like us folks here from the outreach team that will be reaching out to you to schedule that visit. From there, they'll determine the construction that's needed, and then they're going to put in new lateral lines from your home, and then at that point, they're going to abandon your septic tank. So the process is pretty simple. They come out, they do an assessment, and then we'll coordinate with you to do that. And then from there, they'll determine when the construction activity needs to start and how long that's going to take for you. So I know this is the hot topic, right? This is the big question. How much is this going to cost? This is going to cost nothing to you. This project is being secured. The funding is being secured from the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, and that's going to cover the cost of the construction work, all associated fees, abandonment of your septic tank, and then restoration of your yard. Because obviously they're going to have to go in and do some work on your yard, construction nearby, and they will leave your property back the way they got it. So it's going to be in the same state as they got to your property. So any work that's needed to be done, they will return your yard back to its original state. So the project funding, so I know we think nothing is free, right? Nothing is free. But the project funding is part of the, as I mentioned, the, sorry guys, I lost my train of thought here. This project funding allows eligible recipients to complete crucial infrastructure projects and address water quality needs. So your communities were chosen because the state understands that this is needed, and there is funding right now. That window is open, and your elected officials are pushing to have this happen for you, for this specific community. So there is a grant that we're working on, and this funding is, we anticipate that this agreement is going to be completed when the project starts in mid-2023. And then with funding, there's not going to be any cost to homeowners. There's zero cost to homeowners for this. So I know some of you are probably concerned about what that means for your bill. I'm sure you are all accustomed to a specific bill that you were receiving, but the cost to switch and convert to the sewer line is laid out very, very clear. So there is a lowered fixed rate per home, and that's $21.96, and that's for ongoing system maintenance, the administrative costs, and facility costs. So that's the bill, right? And then for every person that lives in your home, you're going to add $7.50 to that bill. So if you are a four-person home, your bill is $21.96 plus an additional $30. So that would be a total of $51.96 every month for your sewer bill. So depending on what you're paying now, as you know, this is the comparison, this is what you would be paying. In addition to this, the water district does have a program that you can apply for, and that is the RARE program, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. There's more information about that. So that will also add, it's a financial, it's based on your income, and based on your income, there is a specific dollar amount that you would have removed from your bill. So if you apply for that, you can grab an application before you leave today, or you can ask one of us about that program, and we can talk to you a little bit more. But any added value, that would be an added value for switching over to the sewer line.
Hold on just a second, please. I'm sorry.
We're going to take a quick moment so she can take a photo. And we have this information to hand out before the end of the program.
Thank you, I'm sorry. I should have thought of it sooner.
That's okay. So what can you expect during construction? So as I mentioned, you're going to start seeing folks coming around surveying the properties. Then you will start to see a sewer line being dug through the street, and as the connections begin, a lateral line will connect to your property, and then there will be some road paving. So there will be some general construction in your area. At that point, they'll abandon your septic system, and then as I mentioned, they will do work on your home to leave it in the state that they found it. So everything will be replaced in kind. You will also see some road closures. There will be some parking restrictions, and then intermittent lane reductions. That is going to be as construction starts towards the middle of next year. And so, as I mentioned, the project schedule is pretty basic right now. We have the funding time frame, which we are asking you all to opt in to this. You have until January 2023 to opt into the program. So if you decide that tonight's not the night for you to do that, you have some time to do some research, some time to reach back out to us, ask additional questions, and do your homework to get more information before you decide before January 2023. And then at that point, that's when construction activity starts. So we anticipate, like I mentioned, construction to start probably around mid-2023. So how do you participate, right? So many of you received the opt-in form already today. You can opt in today, as I mentioned. You can do that today at the back one of the tables. Our outreach staff will be there to help you. If you're not ready to do that today, you can download that form from our website, or you can submit it in person. We have the opt-in forms here for you to grab, and you can take those and submit those in person at a later date at the Water District office. You can also email us, and we have all of our email information here. In addition to everything I just shared with you, we have a bunch of literature for you to take with you, frequently asked questions, fact sheets, opt-in forms, we have surveys, we have contact cards you can take back with you, but we have a lot of information for you to take home with you if, again, you decide tonight's not the night for you to opt in. However, again, just to mention, we're here to help you if you choose to do that tonight. Okay, as I mentioned, we also have survey forms. You can come up here at any time and pull up the QR code if you'd like and give a survey tonight if you would like. But we really want to hear from you. We want to know what your thoughts are. We want to know what your questions are. We would like to know, what are some of your reservations? So if you're not comfortable doing that tonight, please don't leave without taking one of those surveys so that we can hear from you later. And lastly, we have our contact information. We have contact cards here tonight that we can give you before you leave. You don't have to write all this stuff down. We're happy to provide that to you before you leave. Again, if you choose not to opt in tonight, we are available by email, by phone. You can walk in, or you can download all of this from our website. So with that concludes the presentation portion. And we're going to go ahead and start with some Q&A. I have Bonnie and Matt here to assist as well. But I think we have our first question. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
Anybody here from Valencia Street?
What street?
Valencia.
Anybody here from Valencia Street?
I guess I'm it.
Okay.
What's your question?
Questions? Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
That's the question.
It's
I
right about.
own 2 lots adjacent.
She's got a microphone there for you.
I own 2 lots that are adjacent to one another. Will I be able to get a line on each lot, or only the line where there's a house?
Good evening, Matthew Bates. No? Sorry. Evening, Matthew Bates. I'm the district's engineering manager and the project manager for the project along with Greg. The project is to provide a sewer lateral. We're trying to provide sewer laterals to each lot. We're not sure if the state will allow it, but it is to provide a sewer lateral to each house. So if you have 2 lots, one is vacant, one has a house, then the plan is to abandon the septic tank to the house. We're not sure if we're going to be able to provide a lateral or not, but it's one of the topics we are discussing with the state.
I didn't hear that last part.
We are trying to work with the state to provide a lateral to vacant lots, but we get to identify if the state will fund that portion of it.
Hello, line, is this on?
I don't think that's good.
Not on.
There's one behind you coming. Right behind you.
Hello, my name is R.J. Perez. I'm a retired Southern California Edison employee. And I noticed your company parallel to our companies is that we presented when we did the meter changes to opt out. You keep talking about opt in, and these people have the opportunity to know, do they have the opportunity to opt out, which means the opportunity to opt out if they don't understand that definition? Can you answer me that? Is there going to be a form that's going to say opt out? Because we were required through Edison to put an opt out and an opt in. Do you have that program? Did you offer that to them?
So at this time, it's an opt-in only program. If you
No, that's not the question. The basic question is, can you opt out?
if you choose not to
You have to put your
participate in
mic,
the
your mic's not on.
It's on.
if you choose not to participate in the program, there's no guarantee in the future that we'll be able to come out and offer this again. So the time right now is to take advantage of this opportunity to have sewer put in, and then you'll be on the sewer line in the future.
That still doesn't answer me the question. The question is, are the individual, the property owners going to have the opportunity to opt out?
So the program is opt-in. So if you choose not to opt in, you're choosing to opt out.
Okay, that should be specifically stated on these forms so these individuals and these residents know that.
We're all here to answer all of
Okay.
these questions,
You
definitely.
can answer it here, but on paper, it's not there. You have your board back there, they should understand that.
It's actually on the
Okay.
on the opt-in form, sir. There's a box that says you can opt out.
Well, that's need to be brought to their attention. The other thing too, the recycled water you're gonna have, what are you gonna do with that water? And he said that's a benefit right there.
Again, Matthew Bates, so any wastewater that comes into our treatment plant, we treat that water, and that water is discharged into Lake Elsinore Lake, and used to provide water for the lake. So that's for recycled water.
So that's benefit towards the lake then. not for the individual owners?
A lake and the community at large.
Okay. And this massive project, where's the sewer plant gonna be located to move all this sewer? You know, that takes a lot of water, you know that. You're gonna go downhill or uphill with this?
So the district's existing wastewater treatment plant, which is right behind our headquarters, has the sufficient capacity to treat for the project. So we already have the wastewater treatment plant available.
And the other thing is on the street repairs. Let me tell you, Sedco right now, this area that you're gonna work with, the streets are terrible.
Yep.
And you're gonna tear them up even more. And I know for a fact that the contractors you hire to do the road, they really don't give a darn of how they're gonna repair these streets. Where I live and around there, and you run through Sedco, the streets are really poor. Your management knows that they're real poor, and if you're gonna do this, are you gonna pave the whole street, or are you gonna have a groove down the street that in time is gonna sink down into the street? You're an engineer, you should know this.
Nope, it's a very good question, and at least, okay. A very good question, and so as part of the project, as we're installing the main line down the street, we're installing sewer laterals, we will need to repair and repave the streets as we go through the project.
And in time when the streets start having any difficulties in the workmanship, are they gonna come back and repair those streets? Is that down in writing?
So as part of our construction contracts, we hold the contractor accountable for 1 year for the quality of the work. After that 1 year, we as the district and as the city come in and work through individual case-by-case scenarios that are of concern.
Okay, now the other question is, do you remove the septic tanks?
So as part of the abandonment process, we will break out the bottom, we will fill the septic tank with dirt, and then we will cap the site. We are not physically removing the tank, but we will be following county health guidelines for the abandonment.
Okay. So the septics will stay where they're at. And this program, when you start getting into the property, and there's people that have other lines and gas lines, and the water lines, your water lines in there, what happens when they damage those?
So as part of our project, if we damage an on-site gas line or an on-site water line, we would be responsible for performing a repair.
Okay, and there's another thing too, the way the economy is right now, our seniors right here, $50-some a month, that's a lot.
Yes, it is.
That's a chunk of change. And you're gonna add this to them, you know, their power bill, their gas bill. The people back there, they live in nice areas, I can imagine. I can imagine that, yeah. So, Sedco isn't the greatest, we're proud of it, but it isn't the greatest area in the city, in the county. Since they became Wilmar, they went down the tube since the county let us. And a lot of people, they gotta know this, okay? You have to know this. So you're gonna be pushing uphill here, but the main thing is that you need to put on the forms, you can opt out. Okay? I'll leave you with that.
We'd be happy to discuss with you about the rates.
No, you don't have to discuss with me anything. I understand where you're coming from, okay? I've been there and done that, okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
So I just want to remind something that that Joey discussed while she was up here, that we do offer the RARE program. That is an assistance program where it's about $30 a month towards your water and sewer bill. You can apply for that. It is a low income if you qualify for the CARE program through Edison. Similar requirements to the RARE program that we have at the district. And we're happy to help you with that tonight as well.
I was told on the RARE program though, that you guys come out and then you also try to manage what I can and can't water in my yard. And
So
what I
our
have
RARE
to stop watering and what I can and can't water in my yard. I've already given up my lawn right after we paid well over $1,000 for getting a new lawn like 10 years ago and stuff. Then after that, then we get a notice saying that we had to cut back on our water. We were foster parents for over 20 years, so we had a lot of kids in and out of our home. Our water bill went high over all the kids. And then we had the lawn and did all the different things that we did then we had to let go of our lawn, let go of a lot of things. We applied for the RARE program, then when we did, then we found out that, then we can't water a lot of things, because then you come out and manage what I can't water in my yard. And I don't have a lot of stuff in my yard, but we have over a half acre.
And I appreciate that and understand your
So
challenges
that
with
doesn't
that.
help me with my bill
It
after
is
all
a-
anyway.
It is a requirement with the RARE program at this time to assist with efficiency, so we do offer, you don't have to take that, but we do offer a landscape evaluator to come out and help find any leaks, or if there's an issue with sprinklers, then they can make you aware of that and also help you get rebates to help fix those things for efficiency in the future. But if that's not something you want to do, you just have to let them know, and we can work with you.
But our water bill's usually fairly good anyway. With a half acre, I think $50 to $60 a month, even in the summertime, is fairly good. But then when we were told that we couldn't water certain things in our yard, and it's like, well, what the hell are you talking about? $60 with 5, 6 people in our houses, I thought was pretty damn good.
Well, we'd be happy to talk with you about that and help find a solution. We have a couple of questions toward the back of the room that we're gonna allow a couple of folks in the back of the room. So go ahead.
Hi, yeah, do you anticipate a period of time where there isn't gonna be any drainage from the house, or is it gonna be seamless? You'll be on the septic tank the whole time, and then it'll switch over, and it won't be like 8 hours or 2 days or something where you don't have a.
So during construction, as we're installing the main line in the street, there would be no disruption to service. When we actually come on site to do the connection to the house, there will be a period of time where we would ask you, we'll coordinate this ahead of time, we will ask you to momentarily stop service so that we can connect the lateral and then do the abandonment of the sewer system. So there will be some time, but it'll be a very short time frame.
Okay, here's the next question.
Yeah, I live on Lakeview Terrace,
There you go.
and it runs north and south. And the sewer line that I guess is going right down the middle of the street is higher than my toilet. And it would have to flow uphill to get to I'm about 2 feet down below the street. How would that work?
So as part of our planning and design process, the surveying activity that Joey mentioned will be performing surveying to get elevations of properties, to get an idea if we need to install the sewer line at a deeper elevation in order to pick up examples of your property. We'll be evaluating things like that through our design process.
Is there another question? Oh, back.
There's another question, one last question in the back, and then we'll move up to the front.
Hi, I just want to know if this is going, how this is going to affect our property tax. Or will it?
Now you've got it over there.
That doesn't affect property.
So there is no anticipated property tax impact. Based on conversations that we've had with similar agencies that have done this work, there has been no property tax impact for this type of a project.
Do we have a question up here?
Yes, to opt in, you need to have my wife approve it also, because she's a co-owner.
Yes, we do need both owners to sign, and as well as one for each property if you do own multiple parcels.
We have a question back here.
I have a couple clients that are in the process of selling their homes. Can they say now that sewer will be available to them in 2023?
At this point, we are still, as part of this opt-in program, once we have, as Joey mentioned, by the January timeframe, we will be looking at the number of customers that have opted in. And at that point, we will be going back to the state to secure the funding. So I would not inform people at this time to say it will be provided. It is still a conversation that we're having with the state.
Okay, we have our next question up front.
Hi. We have a tenant, not a tenant, but my son, myself, and his wife were all on the deed. Do we all have to sign?
repeat that question.
So just to repeat her question, she's asking, she's got multiple people that live in her home that are on the deed.
No.
Oh, excuse me, multiple people on the deed. And yes, for every person who is on the deed, they need to fill out an opt-in form. In addition to that, if you own multiple properties, you need to fill out an opt-in form for each property.
Whether it's in your area or not.
Well, in this area, in the Sedco Hills area, correct.
Did I hear you correctly? Did you say that the water, well, in the beginning you said the water will be sent back and treated by the district? Did I hear you say that that treated water will then be pumped into Lake Elsinore? Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, our treated wastewater from our treatment plant is pumped into Lake Elsinore.
That's what's wrong
But
with the
not
lake
in
now?
Not in our lines.
No, it does not get pumped back into the Sedco Hills community. It goes into the Lake Elsinore.
Okay, my question is, you said mid-2023 would secure funding. If we opt in and we don't secure funding, what then?
Great question. Again, as part of our discussion with the state, and we're trying to identify maybe groupings of properties that have opted in order to try and create maybe a smaller project if the entire community doesn't opt in. So if, in the end, we're trying to gather as much opt-in support as we can, and then we'll be going back to the state. Our goal and the direction from our general manager and our board is to build some sort of a project, and so we're trying our hardest to gather the signatures and then form a project around those people that have opted in.
Okay, we have a question back here.
If we opt out and then, say a few years down the road, we decide to improve the property, is there going to be any requirements at that time to make a connection out of pocket?
So, a great question. So if you opt out today and we move forward with the project and there is a sewer main line that is in front of your property, there is a requirement by the California Plumbing Code to make a connection to the sewer, and it would be at your cost. So the opportunity with this project is the district would come in, we would install the sewer main, we would install the sewer lateral, abandon the sewer, a septic tank, and you would be connected to sewer. You could perform any site improvements that you wanted to perform. But if you do opt out or you decide to not opt anything and not sign a form at all, and the project does advance forward and the sewer line is in front of your street, and then you have a problem with the septic tank, you would be required by the County Department of Public Health or County Department of Environmental Health to make a connection to the sewer main.
How much?
So we estimate that the cost to perform the work that we're doing on your behalf, not including the main line in the street, just to do the lateral work and the septic abandonment is about $60,000 cost that we would be absorbing, or not we, but the state through this grant would be absorbing for the project.
So that means we would be forced into it in the future to hook up to sewer line, even if we're not having problems with our septic tank?
You would not be forced to connect if you're not having problems. If you were to have a septic tank failure in the future and there is a sewer main that is within, again, 200 feet of your property, then the County Department of Environmental Health, which is in compliance with the California Plumbing Code, would require that you connect the sewer at that time.
And what's considered problems with your septic tank to you guys?
We do not
have it pumped every 5 years?
We do not govern septic systems, so what would end up happening is if your septic system failed and if the leach lines were no longer leaching, you were getting backflow into your property and you couldn't repair it, or it was some sort of a septic failure, not governed by the district at all. It's all part of the California or the County Environmental Health Department. They at that point would require you or ask you to come to us to verify if sewer is within the area, and then we would provide a letter as such.
And how much did you say it was? connect if you do it on your own?
So from the, if the main line is in the street, so the sewer lateral, then all of the work on your property, we are estimating to be about $60,000 of work.
60,000?
$60,000, 60,000, yes. But again, with this project and the grant that we are receiving from the state, that is at no, all of that is being provided at no cost to you.
Oh, when you mentioned the opt-out, which is not in the paper here, and if you do this on an opt-out, would this information be put on paper? And also, are these agencies, are they under the Public Utilities Commission also? If there's any, well, I don't want to say, additional charge for a penalty, if that comes about, because will that go into litigation, or it can go into litigation?
So we are a public municipality governed by our board of directors, and we are not governed by the California Public Utilities Commission, and so the Public Utility Commission is not involved.
Okay, so the opt-out time, if your sewer or your septic's doing fine for those that have good septics, it shouldn't be a problem. What I'm afraid of, the $60,000 scares a lot of people. So this should be definitely printed and explained to the homeowners.
So we do have, as Joey mentioned, our project website. It is not intended to scare anybody. You know, we're just trying to inform the value in which the project will provide to the community as a whole, individually at each property, and then as well the community at large with the sewer main going in the street, any pavement activities that would be in the street, in order to better the community at large.
And if I can clarify, that information to opt in or opt out is in the opt-in form. It's very clearly printed, so all the documentation is printed out either at the back table there. There's also printouts here at this table. So the language is all there so you can read it, and we would be more than happy to go over each of those opt-in forms with you before the end of the night so that you understand it clearly.
So as of right now, if only half of the community wants this project, is still gonna happen?
Yeah.
For the people that we want it?
So as I mentioned, so as part of the project, as we collect opt-in forms, we will be identifying those in order to see if there's a geographical, so maybe, let's say within Sedco, everyone closer to Malaga wanted to do the project and everybody closer to Lemon did not. Then what we would do is we would work with the state, which is our funding agency, in order to develop a project around the groups of people that are interested in moving forward. So it's not necessarily an all-in or an all-out type of platform.
There's no stretch.
I'm sorry, one second.
Wherever they have sign is how they
So I was just curious for the leach field line you're talking about.
So the septics, we will abandon per county health requirements.
And I don't like that.
We'll be abandoning the systems per county. Maybe not. Okay, sorry. We'll be abandoning per county health requirements. At this point, the plan is to abandon the septic system, not necessarily the leach fields. If the county requires the leach fields, then those will be abandoned as well.
I'm sorry, can you?
So she had asked, will the leach lines be abandoned in place versus being removed? So again, with the septic system, the septic tank will remain in place. We'll break out the bottom, we'll fill it full of dirt. The leach fields themselves would remain in place and basically just abandoned in place.
So it has to be that way?
We have a question over here.
What if you don't want your septic tank every time abandoned? What if you want to keep it for future, for an apartment or something like that that you want?
So once you have sewer on the property, then you would not be allowed to use a septic system. The point of the project is to improve the groundwater quality, improve the water quality in the overall system. And so a septic tank, once sewer is provided to a property, using a septic, I just died. Once the, oh geez, that was a lot better. Once the septic system is removed and sewer is provided to a property, then the use of a septic system would not be permitted.
So no more man cave toilet then, huh?
I'm sorry, what was it?
I said no more man cave toilet then, huh? Sorry.
Something that you just said that came to my mind is you're requesting the opt-in, and you mentioned that what's the organization that you have to send the opt-in information so they can see it? What state program is that?
So the state of California is providing the funding for the program, and so as part of what we refer to as our construction application, we have to prove to the state that we have received a majority of community support for the project, either be it the entire community or a portion of the community, so it would be the state of California.
So if the percentages of opting out of this program, what goes then? What are you going to do then? I mean, because you have to present this to this organization. So what happens then if you have a majority of homeowners that don't want any part of this?
So the presentation to the state is for the opt-in program. And so as we're collecting opt-in forms, we will be identifying the properties that are interested in the project, and then we will work with the state to create and fund a smaller portion. Let's say if everybody closer to Malaga was interested, then we would create a project that was for those parcels that are interested in the project. So it's not, we wouldn't be presenting everybody as an opt-out. We're presenting here the state is the opt-in, and this is our plan moving forward to construction to build the facilities within these streets or these areas.
Okay, another question that I wrote down here. For some of the homeowners in this area, they have a lot of cement work within their yard. And some of the cement work is specialty cement work. So, you have to go in and remove the line and this and that. Are you going to repair at no cost the cement work, if it's a 6-inch or 4-inch? Are you going to repair all that as it was before?
So
is that a guarantee?
So as Joey mentioned,
is that a guarantee?
Yes, so as Joey mentioned, as we are performing the site reviews, and if we have to tear out, 6-inch driveway, 4-inch driveway, stamped decorative concrete, that work will be repaired and replaced in kind before we got there.
That's what I want people to remember, okay? Thank you.
What is the deadline to opt in?
End of January 2023. January 2023 is the deadline to opt in.
January
2023, January 31, 2023. At the end of January, so that is the deadline. Okay.
Sure. We own a property on Mission Trail, and closer?
I'll repeat it.
We own a property on Mission Trail, and right now we believe our sewer is transmitted to a treatment center that's across the street, almost directly across the street, and that there seem to be these yellow vents that are like 3 feet high and like 2 feet round, and they vent this odor. And right now, there is a foul odor, almost nightly at our property. So when this project comes into existence, is the sewer
relocating that? That's a question probably because we would need your actual address and I don't. Yeah.
So please help me make sure I get your question correct. So you were saying that you live along Mission Trail and you currently have sewer, or you're just asking about, you're on septic, okay. And so there is a sewer facility across the street, and you had a question about the odor that's at that sewer facility.
Very
Okay.
bad for a
Yep.
long time.
So the district recently actually performed an improvement. That's what we refer to as our B2 sewer lift station. And we have an odor control system that has been installed there maybe within the last 6 months. So we believe that improvement did fix that odor. I'm shaking head no. So we can look into that. This project, we do have a plan, and as we install these facilities, a long-term plan to abandon that lift station, but that is not directly related to this project. But if there are some odor issues, be happy to talk with you about them afterwards.
This will be our last question, and then we'll break off, and you can ask us individually.
How much cement are we talking about? I've got cement from the front gate to my front door. And the width of more than a
So the question was in relation to how much of the cement will we be replacing. And so as we do our site investigations and we identify the location of the septic tank and the installation of what is considered the on-site lateral, whatever amount of concrete is necessary to replace in order to abandon the lateral. So if it's, say, halfway down your driveway and then there's another 30 feet beyond that to the garage, we would replace the concrete that is impacted by the project, so half the driveway as an example. We would not replace the entire driveway if a septic system was located in the front of the property. So it all depends on how much of an impact we would have on the property.
So that will be decided on the people that come out to investigate.
So as part of the project design, as I mentioned, we'll be doing some surveying. Joey mentioned we'll be working with our team in order to perform some site investigations. And so we'll be able to identify, okay, we can install the lateral in a location maybe and not impact the driveways. So they're going to be very specific case-by-case basis. As we work through the design, myself again as the project manager of the design and the construction phase, we'll be working through those efforts with individual property owners, and so you'll know, okay, I got to take out your driveway, or no, I'm not taking out the driveway next door.
My driveway is all the way to the septic tank, directly in front of me.
Sure.
My septic tank was in front of my door and I hated it.
So again, just to clarify, depending on the location of the septic tank, if we have to tear out the entire driveway, we will replace the entire driveway.
So just to clarify and reiterate what Matthew just mentioned, so any work being performed on your home, and they take out 5 bushes, they replace 5 bushes. They take out the cement, they replace that cement. They're not going to leave your parcel with just a construction work, right? We're going to replace it all in kind. So it's important for you all to know that whatever work's being done there, we're going to replace it as it was when we got there. So I noticed that folks are kind of getting a little bit restless and want to go maybe talk a little bit one-on-one. So you're free to do that. We're going to wrap up our Q&A session now. And as I mentioned, we have folks in blue shirts all around the room that can answer your individual questions. We have literature for you to take home with you. We can assist you in opting in if you'd like. And just, again, continue to answer questions. So we really appreciate your time and patience. Thank you so much. Yes.
but you have to go through the hearing to get to the